Good evening, everyone. There is a bastard cat in our neighbourhood that has been sitting on the garden wall, and it's been annoying my cat, and my cat won't go out in the bloody garden unless I've chased this one away. So yeah, this is the new direction of the show, by the way. I've decided that cameras don't get enough viewers, so this is going to be called Ben's Cat Show from now on. It's going to be all cat action, and I'm going to start by undoing whatever the hell I did to my face. In the let's sort that out. No, I haven't gone Jim Carrey. It's just a little color correction issue. Ooh, it's a bit better there. Let me take the contrast down slightly. There we go. That's better. A little bit more human now. How you doing, everyone? Welcome to, well, believe it or not, it's not Ben's cat show. Oh, there's my cat. Look, she hides under the chair when that cat comes along. Ugh, what are you going to do? Cat drama. It is, in fact, of course, Ben's camera show. And after a little bit of an absence, it's nice to be back. I've got lots of stuff to show you over the next few weeks. That's right. I've planned not just tonight, but a few shows going into March, maybe even April as well, until I've finally exhausted the well. And have to go back underground. Where have I been going? What have I been doing? Oh my goodness! What have you lot been doing? I know we've all been hanging out at Mike Long's Filmboy 24 thing on Sundays. Yeah. I've actually Mike kind of inspired me to get the old camera show back going, and so did a lot of you nice people who frequent that place as well. If you don't, go to Filmboy 24. Community on YouTube. It's great. Who's in the room to begin with? Well, I don't even know who's actually commenting in the room, but we've got some old friends here, old radios, Super City 100, this side towards screen, Barry Steinlager. Yes, excellent. So great to hear from you guys, and keep the comments going, and I will attempt to address them as we go along. So, what have I been doing? Well, let's get into my little box on the side over here. Boing, and I will go through it. I have been busy doing Exploding Cinema, getting a show ready. That's going to be tomorrow night. Yes, tomorrow night. In fact, let's get some... Oh, God, no, not the cat. Yes, Exploding Cinema. We're doing a show at the Cinema Museum tomorrow night. Fantastic place, and it's I will be actually presenting it. It's my turn to present this one, so very exciting. We're going to be showing short films, and we're doing the place up with all our signature psychedelic projections and stuff like that. And if you've made a film, submit it to Exploding Cinema. We will show it. We have a open access policy. You might have to wait for a couple of years, but we will show it eventually. So that's tomorrow night, the 6th, Friday the 6th, at the Cinema Museum. What else is going on? Well, I went to the Penistone Film Festival, I think, since I last rapped at you. I don't think I've shown this footage, but I've been to... Where am I? I went to Penistone and took this footage on I think it was a Bolex B8, and it was a festival of silent movies, old ones and new ones, and one of mine as well. Can't see much there. That was part of my film there, and it was a great few days. And there was a guy showing off some stunts, and some numpty had his bloody phone obscuring everything. Anyway. This is footage I have shown you before. That's the Dresden Schmalfilmtage, which is coming up in a week, and I'm going to be there. I'm very excited to say I will be there, hanging out with the Germans. Friedman Wachsmuth will be there, Jürgen Losau, Dagi Bronder, everyone who's anyone in the German Super 8 and film community. Patrick Müller, I think. I'm not sure if he's coming. Anyway, so it's a great few days of geekery for me, and I'm looking forward to it. This is in lieu of a summer holiday, which I don't have these days. So I go away when the flights are cheap to all these places. So that's Dresden. That's going to be, let's see, oh every time. Every time. That's going to be coming up in on the 12th to 15th of March at the Motor and Hala. And if you're going to be there, I want to talk to you, because you're obviously a person of extreme taste, having tuned into Ben's camera show. Barry says I'm here. Oh, okay. Well, let's move on. What else have I got to announce? Exploding Tomorrow, Peniston. I was ill for a bit. Just had the usual cough that's going around. And a couple of weeks ago, I cracked a tooth, so I had to go to the dentist today. I'm sure that's fascinating to everyone. Unfortunately, he wouldn't let me take a picture of the X-ray machine, which I would have featured on a show, and stick my hand into it or something. Anyway. Oh yeah, look at this. The latest, talking of the German Super 8 community, the latest issue of Super 8 magazine is out, and it celebrates the 60th anniversary of the format. So yeah, go out and get yours. Get a subscription. They tell it like it is. They do. Right, and that's all the Super 8 we'll be having for a little while. We are coming back to it. Yes, we are. I promise. But we're going to take a little departure today, as you've probably seen from all the publicity about this show. Is I'm going to have a look at a little camera that came onto the market last October. I think about the time I did my last camera show before this one. And it's called the Kodak Charmera, which is an interesting adaptation of the word camera to include the word charm. And they're not actually far off, because it is a charming camera. It is a tiny little camera. In fact, I'm going to go into my little box on the side here. I'm going to make myself tiny so we can see what these cameras are all about. So, yes, it says it's so small it builds itself as a keychain digital camera. In fact, let's see if we can get some. Here we go. I've got some better pictures here than the Kodak website. There we go. So that's the whole range of them. They're about the size of a little box of a little film container from back in the day, and except they're a square instead of round, and they come in all these different decorations, these different varieties. And because it's a blind box, there's 6 different ones that it could be, but you don't know until you open the box. So you can buy a multi-pack of all of them. This is a very retro one. I think they're based on actual like Kodak single-use camera designs, and maybe even film box designs. I quite like this one. That's another one, kind of Mondrian style. That's a bit too flashing the old Kodak brand there, I think. And now this is the secret 7th one. And the 7th one is only like 1 in every 50 is one of these. And it's a transparent one, apparently. And those are hard to get and rare. And they've drummed up a rarity item on this, a rarity value on this thing. So the Charmera, yes. So I'm going to be talking about it today. Now, let's do the unboxing, shall we? Let's get the... switch this off there. And that. And here we go. Yes, the Charmera. I've got it already on the overhead camera here. Comes in a little box like this. It's not a huge box. And here's the price. This was £39.99. They're about the £40 mark. Interestingly enough, some are like 45, some are a bit more than that. But interesting enough, it's almost exactly the same price as a roll of Super 8 film. Now this one was sold to me opened, so some cheeky bugger opened the bottom. Probably they wanted to see whether it was the rare one or not. But let's get it out and see what you get. And I'm just going to have to adjust the focus in a minute as well. So you get, I'm going to switch off the chroma key. I know that it looks good when it looks good, but when it doesn't look good, it's just annoying. So let's just go straight to the green background here. Right. So firstly, you get a little leaflet, which has got basically all the pictures which I just showed you. Those are the 6 retro designs and the so-called secret design there. Very nice. And you get, this is basically the instruction book. It's a QR code, and you just have to, that's how things are these days. So there we go. Gold Radio says, I like the designs. Yeah, they are cool. So I got this one. This one was the classic 1987 design. And it really is very small. Oh yeah, you get a USB-C thing with it, cable with it. You don't get a card. It takes a micro SD card. If I can just, let's get that out there. Yeah, it takes a micro SD card. This one's 64 gigabytes, which, believe me, is you're going to fit a lot of. It's overkill, really. You're going to fit far too many pictures on that. Well, not too many, but there we go. A lot. Now let's just focus this properly so we can get it really up nice and close and personal. There we go. Let's see how big this thing is for a start exactly. Let's see. How big are we? In fact, probably it's losing it against the background there. Let's put a red background in. There we go. Very nice. Let's see how actually the dimensions of this thing are. It's basically the size of a sort of an adult human thumb. Let's see. There, just 56 millimeters wide by about 20 that way and 25 that way, or 23 and change. So yeah, really small. And of course, that's the whole thing about this camera. That's other than the design, this is really why these things exist, because the technology now is make them so tiny. Is it 25 MP? Says Barry. Are you talking about bit depth or what? Well, yeah, just write in the comments. Well, we're going through all the specs in a minute, loads of specs. So what did you get? You get a little screen at the back. That's the best thing about this. It actually has its own little color screen. It has 2 buttons on top. That's the power button, and that's the take a photo button in the traditional top right hand corner. And it's got a little bit of a little hole going through for a viewfinder. Well, I'll go into that in a minute. Now here you have selection buttons and a menu buttons and a selection button. Now the reason that the screen is looking a bit tatty here, it's actually not. I realized that this screen can get scratched quite easily, especially if you just keep it in your pocket. So what I did is I got some of this, which is it's a screen protector and screen cleaning kit, which I've had forever, and it's got this in it. These there we go. You just cut out a piece of a screen protector, and that's the shiny stuff. Peel it off, and it's sticky, and it only took a tiny little bit, and now my screen is protected. So if you get one of these things, I urge you to get a screen protector, because these Charmera screens, if you keep them in your pocket, then yeah, it's going to get a bit scratched. Oh, megapixels. Okay. Is it 25 meg? Well, like I said, we'll go through all the specs in a minute. We're going to get deep into it, by the way. So deep, I think I just overloaded the microphone there. Okay. So, switch it on. This button on top here makes a little beeping noise, and you get into this menu screen. And this is always, it's always in the menu screen. It doesn't go straight to photos. You've got to choose whether you want to take a photo or a video, or go into the menu. That's rather the settings. So the settings, basically, you can choose whether to have the date burned in on the photos or on the video, and you can set the date. That's pretty much all you get for those settings. There's calendar settings, basically. And the only way to get out of that and back into the camera is to switch it off and then on again, which is a bit odd. Maybe you can do it other ways. But anyway, so this button is the select button. It also doubles up as the play button when you want to look at your pictures. But if I just select it, then here we go. We go straight into camera mode. See if I can find something to point it at so you can actually see. There we go. There's this little guy here. So Let's see. Yeah, so there we go. There's our live picture. Goldberry says, ooh, videos, I'm interested. Oh, yeah. Wait till we get onto the videos. So you can take a picture by pressing this thing on top. It's probably out of focus, but it makes a little chick chick noise. The classic. There we go. I'll hold it up to the thing so you can hear what it sounds like. You hear that? What's that little sound? I love the fact that even though it's like as far away as you can get from an analog camera, it still makes that little clicking noise. And then you can choose if you want to go to video. You just go back to the selection screen. It's very simple. Go to video, select that, and then you can just start recording. And when you're when you're in the picture mode, you can press this, and then you can look through the pictures you took. There you go. See, cycle through the pictures. Although this is so unbelievably tiny, this screen, that it's kind of difficult to see sometimes. So let's just switch that off for the moment because the battery doesn't last forever. And let's see a few pictures. I counted the number of photos I've got lined up for you today. 127 photos I've got, and so some of them I might whip through kind of quickly. But let's start. Old said this would be a good $1,000 into 2000. Yeah, something this tiny. Yeah, it's true. So let's have a look. What have we got? Let's get that camera off. Put the pictures on. Right. So yeah, we've went through it. Okay, so here's a photo. Here's some photos. I started off with, I thought it'd be good to test all the colors. I got some fruit bowl on a blue tablecloth. It looks all right. And these are some of the, I forgot to show you this. Some of the modes that it can shoot in. Very quickly, I'll just go back to that. While you're in photo mode, you can select all these different. You can't see it very well. There we go. You can select all these different modes you can shoot in. See that? All these different modes. Well, I'll show you what that looks like here. So that's regular shooting right there. Yeah, negative and solarized would be good, says Old Radio. Yeah, that doesn't do those, unfortunately. So that's regular shooting. Not too bad, picture-wise. That's warm tone. That's cool tone. That's black and white. It puts fake sprocket holes, like it looks like a film camera. That makes it look like very, very, very like Pentium level Photoshop, like some really old looking operating system there. That's got all these like nice little retro pixelated things around it. That basically shows the camera itself. It generates a picture of the picture on the back of itself. So very meta, this setting here. And now these are the kind of solarizing. It's called something like pixel grab or something. So yeah, it can tint it red, blue, yellow, kind of a dirty white. And those are these kind of solarized, sort of stylized. They're quite good actually, some of these modes. I'll show you in a minute. So the first picture I ever took of this was, of course, the box that it came in, because why not? By the way, that is not toilet paper behind it. That's kitchen roll, just the angle. And then, of course, the cat. And the cat got quite interested in the Charmera. Came up for a closer look. And that's how I discovered that this thing does not have macro. And if you get closer than about 50 to 70 centimeters, you're in blurry territory, I'm afraid. Fixed focus. Yeah, getting closer than that really didn't help. Thank you, maybe. That didn't help either. I mean, yeah, it's in focus, but that's about as close as you can get. So it's basically head and shoulders. A bit like how those old Super 8 cameras were always geared so you could always get at least close enough to do a head and shoulders. I look like as some sort of psycho there, or someone who's been outed in the papers for doing something horrendous. That's a bit nicer, a bit gormless. But yeah, it's a nice little effect, that one. That was obviously a selfie. Now, what I was going to show you about this, I'm going to get the green screen back on because it's worth it. Right, I do not need this guy. Okay, so the little hole to look through, right? You can line up your pictures by looking through that instead of looking at the screen. Maybe you can't see the screen. Maybe it's like sunny weather. However, that is about how much you can see through the hole, right? What you're actually taking is this much. So when you line up your shot, bear in mind that that is only the center of the actual picture you'll be taking. So there's it overlaid there. So yeah, so it's fine to be able to just sort of center your shot, but bear in mind you're gonna get more than that. Now let's look at just some more photos from my first couple of sessions with this thing. That's that picture. I mean, so many pictures look like really old early digital cameras, and especially phone cameras. This just looks, even the train looks like old. The whole picture looks like it was taken in, if you said that was taken in 2005, I'd believe you. Hey, Cecil DeVille's in the house. Hello, Cecil. Right. That's actually not bad. Oh, that's an album cover. I think was that the selfie that I took? Yeah. So not too bad unless you zoom in. You know, let's zoom in on this and see. So once you start zooming, you start to see the limitations of it. But can't really complain if you just want a quick record of what you're looking at. That's out of the window of a bus. Notice here, this is all kind of exposed, right, for darkish conditions, but at the same time, it's bleached out the whites here. So dynamic range is something we're gonna come back to. So it's a recurring issue with this camera. That's Gary Shandling. I think I took a picture of a computer screen just to see what was going on. R.I.P. Gary. This is interesting because, of course, the underground train the tube was moving, and the people were standing relatively still. So you can see the tube has a motion blur, but the people are still. So it does have a period where the gate, as it were, the sensor is open. And we're gonna look at the specs of one of these photos in a sec. In fact, let's look at that right now. Yeah, we'll do it live. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to have a look at these photos on my computer. Let's do it over here on the second screen. Second screen on. Right, and these are the films I've taken. These are the Charmera photos. So let's just see this one. It's, how big is that? It's 100. Oh my god, it's only 129 kilobytes. This thing. And let's have a look at the properties of that. I probably can't see that very easily, but okay. It's a 1440 by 1080 photo. Horizontal resolution 180 by vertical 180 DPI. Bit depth 24. Resolution unit, I don't know what that means. Camera maker General Plus. Camera model CBB3. This is very odd. Exposure time 1/50th of a second. ISO speed ISO 153. aperture 3. I think it's a f-stop is 3. Is this a video? Yeah, no, that's a picture. Let's have a look at another one, because I thought, you know, maybe the aperture changes here and there. Okay, let's have a look at this one. Let's look at the properties. We're getting in deep into the geekery here, aren't we? So, yeah, it's 160 kilobytes, and yeah, it's the same, 1440 by 1080, 180 DPI. I don't know how much megapixels, or maybe we're not even in the mega range at this point. Yeah, f3 f-stop, 1/50th of a second, and ISO 153. What a weird. A focal length 5mm. What a weird ISO 153. I guess what they've done is just taken a kind of a hodgepodge, and just a sort of a best guess, if you like, and said, okay, look, this is about in the middle of what people are gonna take a picture of. These settings. Right, let's look at some more quickly. So yes, you could just whip it out. If you put it on your keys, you can just whip it out and take a picture anywhere. You know, I mean, who stops to get their phone out and take a photo going into a plane? I'll tell you, idiots. That's who. But Charmera users, who takes a photo going down an escalator onto a crowded platform at an airport, like people with mental problems, and me. There we go. See, that looks quite nice. If you in lowish contrast situations, it's all right. But here, it's just like a gallery. You can see the background is completely whited out, because I'm in a dark room, looking out through a window into a light room, and the Charmera has just given up. It's adjusted to the dark, but it can't handle the light. Dynamic range again. That's nice. This turned out nice, and that's my picture up there today. That was with the solarization kind of one. That's a street market, and if you zoom in, it all goes to crap. But never mind. Let's just not zoom in. I think all these photos are pretty good if you don't zoom in. That's like a nut stall, and that's some knockoff football shirts. Yeah, I mean, it did pretty well. This is interesting here. Get my fingers on. That's just a beam of light coming through this white thing here, and it's completely bleached it out. I mean, the sensor is 1/4 of an inch. It's smaller than my little fingernail. It's about the size of a Super 8 frame, this sensor. Let's see what else. Yeah, see that bleached out again there. Oh, that's not actually a bad photo of me in a way. Cut my head off, and I'm also bleaching here and there. That's not a photo in the park. That is a photo of a landscape portrait by some Austrian guy. Very, very good work he did there. Looked much clearer than the Charmera picture. Mind you, it probably took a while longer to make that picture. That's nice. That's at the Ober's Belvedere. This is all like on a trip to Vienna that I took. That's upstairs. There's a classic Austrian Kaffeehauser. That's close up with the flash. Yes, this thing's got a tiny little flash on it. In fact, let's try and get the flash to go off. This is the flash up here. Let's switch it on and see if I can... Probably there's too much light here too. No, it doesn't want to... Oh, I haven't selected camera yet, have I? So... Yeah, I'd have to turn all the lights off in here, I think, to... get the flash, but the flash goes off there, and it's not really a flash, it's just a white LED. But it did this. It lit up my pint of Otterkringer. And of course the Wurstel stand. And the funny thing happened when I was here, drunkenly eating a big sausage with cheese in it. This particular Wurstel stand in Vienna was a magnet for sort of Japanese people who'd seen it on Instagram, and there was a lady in front of me, and she pointed at my Charmera when I took the picture, and she pointed at her rucksack. She had a little Charmera on a chain hanging from her rucksack. So I thought, cool, very cool. Sort of onion domed Russian church there. Some bamboo. Yeah, the sky is all bleached out. I mean, these photos are fine for for a quick snap. You know, you're not going to put it in a magazine or anything. And finally, back onto the plane. In fact, I think I've got a video here. Old Radio says, yum, yum, sweet. Let's look at some video. Yes, this thing does video as well. So let's see what's going on with the video. Oh gosh, that's... I better, sorry, that's WhatsApp. I'm going to switch that off. Otherwise it'll be beeping all the way through. Right. Let's look at that trip. Okay, you've seen the photos of that trip to Vienna. Now let's look at some actual video. Firstly, I have to stop this for a moment. This is this place on the Vienna, on the ring, where if you remember from previous camera shows, the Lumiere brothers filmed on this corner, and I did the same on Super 8. And I thought, well, while I'm here, let's do it with the Charmera as well. So this is Charmera video footage. In a way, sometimes it looks better than the still images, which is funny. And here's Super 8 on a different trip. And finally, back to 1901 or so, and the Lumiere brothers stood on that very same corner filming the Vienna Opera House. Back to Super 8. This is about a year ago. And then finally, let's look at the Charmera version. Nope, we're back to the Lumieres. The Lumiere's got the finest grain. Got to say that it's the you know, we have not progressed in terms of fineness of image. This is probably a nitrate film. There we go. So now it's the Charmera. Yeah. Old Rio says, decent video, not Jello Vision 2000s footage. Okay, you're going to like what's coming soon. Coming in a minute. This was at a museum, which had lots of screens. I thought, let's see how the Charmera video films all these screens. It does a pretty awful job, to be honest, because it's on this low light setting, I think, in this dark place. But it does actually pick up LCD screens without any flickering or stuff like that. So this was about Helmut Lang. Now this is quite cool, these screens. They're these polarized filters hanging in front. And you can only see the stuff that was going on the screens when you look through these polarized like discs, polarized filter discs. Very cool. Hidden stuff going on. A bit like They Live. In fact, they should do a They Live like this, where you put the glasses on. Oh yeah, then we went to a screening of a silent film with a live pianist. This is a film called Mention in Summer by Edward G. Ulmer. A bit naughty filming in there. I just wanted how it would go. And finally, look at this. This is a stairwell which I filmed on Super 8 about 20-something years ago. So we can compare now Super 8, the same stairwell, to Charmera. And the view out of my window. This is interesting. All these yellow kind of sodium lamps. Suddenly the Charmera did a bit of a color correction there. Look at that. Yeah, see, it all went to sort of black and white, or not black and white. Sort of color corrected itself mid-flight. And yeah, I don't know what installation that was. And then finally, arriving back, bunch of happy campers there, all off on their Ryanair flight. About to be charged £1 for using the toilet. There we go, and that was the some of the Vienna video. Super C says, I like the video better than the stills. Amazing that it has sound as well. Yeah. In fact, let's look at some more video. Let's look at a compilation of stuff I filmed on trains, because you can just hold this thing up against a train window and start filming. And so I did a bit of vertical filming here. This was on the Thames Link in the UK.
Close off Devonshire Place. Big crane, right over the top of the building.
Those people talking were like in the next row of seats, so they picked up every word of the conversation. So the mic is actually not bad.
Jump off the far end, didn't they?
In a minute, you'll see a nice effect where the sides of the embankment kind of are in sync with the flickering of the frame rate of the camera. You'll see what I mean in a sec.
It was on the B3.
Yeah.
It was a
Okay.
3.
Right.
Enough of this.
3T.
3T MRI.
Yeah, so look at this bit when I draw level with it, and when there's the graffiti on it, and it almost looks like it could be something animated, because the frame rate of the video exactly coincides. Here we go. I think there. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if that came through with the YouTube compression. Right, we're in Austria now. Now, I'm going to pause this for a second because I want to talk to you about something completely coincidental. All this sideways scrolling video. If anyone has a pair of sunglasses to hand, I'll wait a minute if you have to cross the room to get a pair of sunglasses, because this is a cool effect called the Pulfric effect. If you hold one lens of the glasses over one eye, I think it will be your right eye for the direction this is going in, you get a 3D effect through something called time parallax, where if you look at a sideways scrolling thing, the light that goes through the sunglasses lens takes a tiny bit of a second longer to reach your brain than the light from the other side. And therefore, with the sideways scrolling video, one eye is effectively kind of seeing the picture slightly to one side, and it gives a 3D effect. So I should have told you all beforehand to do this. But if you're looking at this not live and you want to pause and then put a sunglasses lens over one eye. Now look, as we're moving, look at it. Everything's kind of leaning over a little bit, so it does have a bit of that jelly-like. But really, you know, I think this picture, maybe it's because it's maybe the frame, maybe the photos are only the same resolution as a still image from the video. Maybe that's the case. Sometimes with the older cameras, the video would be lower quality than the pictures, but I don't know. I think the 50 frames a second is actually providing a lot of extra visual information here. Everything is kind of leaning over there. Aldria says Austria. Yes, it's the OMV plant. This is what you see coming in from the airport, or going to the airport in Vienna. Anyway, it'll be over in a minute. Play Star Guitar by Chemical Brothers. If anyone knows, ever seen that video? It's a famous video of a view out of a train window, and you realise everything on the picture is corresponding to the sound. Right, so let's go back here. Now, let's talk about upgrading this thing. Oh, before we do, here's some lovely here's some photos that my niece Holly took. Her name is Whole Slot on Instagram, but she took these on holiday in Spain. We had a family thing. So there's what the burn-in date looks like. I wonder if there's a restriction on what year you can do it. And that's with the fake sprockets. Very nice. Where's that one of the hospital? There we go. That's great. That's on a beach. It's a nice picture there. Ah, Barry, have you tried it? The 3D does work. Does it work in both directions? Yes, but I can't remember if it's the leading eye or the trailing eye that you have to put the sunglasses over. So, yeah. Anyway, let's talk accessories with this thing. Let's talk accessories. Let's get that away. Oh, no, not that. We want that. Let's get the second screen off. Right. What can you put on this thing, or how can you improve it? We've already put the screen saver on. Unfortunately, you can't change the battery, but it is what it is. Look what I saw on Amazon. Unfortunately, it was Amazon, but you can. I'll show you something else on Etsy in a second. Don't know which is worse, to be honest. Here we go. You can get a silicone case for it, which is quite nice. It's a rubbery kind of case, which will stop it from, fracturing on the corners. Unfortunately, of course, it doesn't go over the screen, so it won't stop the screen getting scratched. What else can you get for this thing? Now this is a hard case. This is a not silicone. It's actually like a hard shell case for your Charmera, and it has holes where all the buttons go, so for access to it. That's quite nice. What else do people do with this thing? This is an interesting one. This person has made these kind of flat printed skins of cardboard, and what they've done is that you can actually let's get rid of those. Let's look at some. You sort of you get it, and you sort of fold it up yourself, and look, it's turned it into a different. Oh no, that doesn't work. It turned it into a like a Kodak 200 ASA film, and here's what they. Yeah, so you can even make a kind of fake box for your Charmera to sit in. Very nice. I mean, this is. I don't think this is. Look. So you print it out, and then you just fold it up and everything. These seem to have a following, says Old Radios. Yes, Cecil DeVille, it does work. Yay! You did it. Hey, people are doing the. They are doing the wonderful pull frick effect, and it actually does work. It's been known in science, scientifically proven to work. Who'd have thought that you'd have a 3D film shot with one of these? Anyway, does the USB power up or just for charging? Good question, Barry. It charges it, and I think you can still use it while it's plugged into the USB. So it can get its power from the USB. Unfortunately, and I'll get into this later, it doesn't have a live video output, which would be quite nice. Yeah, good. Also another good question. It says Super Cine says, if you can't change the battery, how long does it last? I'll let you know. I'll let you know when it's stopped working. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can open these things up. In fact, let's look at a video of someone who did just that. So here's someone who has put this whacking great lens on their Charmera. So let's see, and then there's a part in the middle of their film when they when they open it up, and you can see what's going on.
What would happen if you put a big lens on a tiny camera? Let's find out. This is the smallest camera I own, the Kodak Charmera keychain camera.
Oh, I'm going to pause it right here. Look at that. That's what's inside it.
But to get another lens on it, we're going to have to modify it. This means prying it open, removing the main board with 2 screws, carefully
there's the camera.
Removing the fixed lens from the sensor. Be very careful not to break the sensor in the process. There's that tiny sensor.
Look at that. Look at that. Look how small that sensor is on this thing. That is like a Super 8 frame.
Drilling a hole in the lens holder, try not to get hurt, and then finally gluing a new lens mount to the front which accepts CS mount lenses, which there are hundreds of options. This isn't even my whole collection. But this video is about big lenses, so I attached a few more adapters I had laying around to finally attach this vintage 58mm lens on it, which because of the almost 8 times crop factor of this tiny sensor, it makes it a 460mm telephoto, and it's just unusable, but maybe on a tripod it would be better. I don't know. What would happen?
Yes, I can answer that. On a tripod, it is much better because I did this myself. Oh, yes. I got, if you remember from a previous show, oh, crap, it's fallen on the floor. But not the lens. Remember I got this? It's a really, like, flawed but working lens that goes onto the front of a mobile phone. And, oops, let's get that off. That's better. So, yes, this massive thing, how big is that? 7 inches from end to end. So you can make an unlikely mating of the Charmera and another lens, and you just have to somehow get it stuck on the front. I'll show you how I managed it. Show you how I did it. I did it. Oh, no. I'll go forward. There we go. So I used Tezza precision masking tape, which is my first go-to for any kind of sticking job. Just taped it. I know, rough and ready, but hey, what are you going to do? So yes, we'll go back to these pictures in a minute because that's significant. So I taped this to this, and I did actually manage to get some results out of that. Some not bad results at all. So let's have a look. I've got it on video. I've got evidence. I can show you. So this is like a top of an apartment block, quite a long distance away. And that chimney is also quite a distance away with this thing. Now, what I tried to do is some focus pulling. And it was very difficult because it was so wobbly, like that other guy had. So I tried to pull focus between this plant here and the wall in the distance. It kind of worked, but holding that thing and the Charmera is very difficult to do all at once. So this is a view of some houses, and this is just a regular picture from the Charmera without the lens on it. If I do a digital zoom, check this out, all the way to this bit here. Now look what happens when you compare this digital zoom with when I put that big lens on it. Look at that. That's the picture the Charmera took with that big lens on it. Amazing. It even looks like it's got more pixels. Let's do that again up here. Look at these chimneys here. And that's with the lens. I mean, the picture looks finer somehow. I don't know how this thing can add extra resolution. Well, lenses are mysterious that way. Anyway, so that's on a tripod, and I do a long kind of pan across. And that's way out in the distance. So, yeah, if you can find some way of hooking this thing up to this without, having to use sellotape or Tesa precision masking tape, then, go for it, is what I'll say. So yes, proven you can put a decent lens on this. Now, I'm going to take just a little bit of a detour back. A detour back? Can you do that? I said earlier that the pictures kind of reminded me of the very first digital camera I ever owned. The very first mobile that could take photos. My first camera phone, and this predates iPhones. I never even owned an iPhone, but it predates smartphones. And this, I went back and I found in my archive, I found my pictures from my very, very first ever camera phone. And this is sub Charmera even. I mean, this is, this was on some sort of Samsung or something. Yeah, really, really kind of basic. I think you could just about take a photo of yourself and it'd be recognizable. Then a later phone, I found this picture. And this picture's not bad. I think this was with a Nokia. This was in Vienna as well. Look, if I zoom in there, you can see it's kind of blurry, but not pixelated so much. It's sort of fuzzy. I took these pictures on my phone because they had blocked off the road for a US presidential motorcade. And this was during the time of George W. Bush. This is how old these photos are. Who'd ever have thought that George W. Bush would seem like a sort of a rational guy? Anyway, probably no one at the time. So I was wondering, I thought, is W going to come by in his car? And look who did come. I took a photo. See that? Can you see? Can you tell who it is yet? It's Condoleezza Rice. She was in Vienna for negotiations with the UN. And that's her, I don't know, is she picking her nose? If this damn thing had more pixels, I'd know. Anyway, so that's one of my very early camera phones. This was taken at a festival, I think on either the same Nokia or and later Nokia N95 possibly. It's the same kind of deal as the Charmera, and these were taken about 2006. So we've gone forwards and then we've gone backwards, and we've gone from big to tiny and back again. So yeah, interesting to compare old mobile phone footage to this is still the old phone, to the Charmera footage. Okay, I'll get onto that now. Some comments here. First digital camera I had was a Kodak DC5000, 2.1 megapixels. Worst digital camera I have is the Kodak MC3, but people love the lo-fi look, says this side towards screen. No kidding, I thought it couldn't get any lower than W. I hate when I'm typing a message and I prematurely hit the send button. Listen, mate, just a bit more experience, you'll be a master at it. Now, let's go through pros and cons. We're going to sum up this little thing with pros and cons. I've done a list of pros and cons. Okay, let's start with the pros. Firstly, it's small. It's tiny. It's portable. You can take this thing, you can put it, it's small enough to go on your keys, basically. I think I've got a photo later of it on my keys. And if you've got it in your pocket, you always have a phone, you always have a camera on you. And you might say, oh, well, with my phone, I've always got a camera on me. Well, maybe there's situations where you don't want to whip your phone out. Maybe your phone's running out of power. Maybe the Charmera starts up faster than your phone, because it does start up pretty fast. Here, hold down the on button, boom, select, and boom, took a photo. What was that? 2.5 seconds? Arguably faster than getting a phone out of your pocket. So it's small. What are the pros? It's fun, everyone. They talk about a camera being fun. I'm going to prove it to you. Look, see, that's me having fun. Taking a picture, taking this thing out with my keys dangling from it. A bit like one of those little Minox. You know the Min. In fact, people who don't know what Minox are say, oh, it's like one of those little spy cameras from the 80s or 60s or whatever. So that's me continuing to have fun. I'm not really sure where this was, but luckily my lovely wife Sissy takes photos of me, whatever camera I'm holding. So yeah, there's me having even more fun. Can't even see the damn thing. And there's me having so much fun that it looks like something similar to a smile has broken out on my face. Yeah, there we go. So you can just, it's like, yes, you can use your phone, but this is all it does is take pictures and video, and not particularly bad video, funnily enough. And there's me holding it up to the train again. You've seen that. That's what the date looks like. Okay, let's look at some cons. Oh, anyone on pros? It's quicker on the draw. Small, portable, fun. Now here's a good one. You can use it in special circumstances where a normal camera won't go. Okay? Now that is a big factor in the benefits of miniaturization. You could tape it to a car. So you could tape it to the front bumper of a car. You could put it on its back going through an airport x-ray. You can just, unfortunately, I think some people might be using it for spying, because it is basically kind of like a spy camera. But that's a moral failing on their part. Don't blame it on the Charmera. Here's something else you can do with it. This is really cool. Okay, look who it is. It's talking of the tiny cameras versus tiny cameras. This is one of the tiniest Super 8 cameras you ever got. This is what tiny was in 1974. Here's a really useful thing you can do using the Charmera and Super 8. Basically, sometimes you need to be able to look down your gate on your Super 8 to see if the light's coming through. And you can't really fit your head into there so that your eye can see it. Now, I know that they have, like, you can get a dentist mirror. There's even a special cartridge which will sort of bend the light at 90 degrees. However, you've got a Charmera, you've got a solution. So let's put some light here. I'm going to try. The difficult part is sort of showing you that this is actually a workable solution. But hold my. Okay, so you can stick the Charmera in right up against the gate there. There, you see that? See that? That light that goes on in the. That's the view down through the gate. It's not flickering because of frame rates of the Charmera and everything, but at least I can see there that the gate is opening when the thing is going around. Very useful. In fact, look what someone's already done it. Someone's ahead of me already. Look at this. Look at this. Here we go. There's an article here called the surprising. Oops. The surprising hackability of a knockoff Chinese toy camera. Now, this is not the Charmera. This is a fake Charmera. We'll be getting to that in a second. But what this person did is they took one of these things apart, and look, they built it into a Super 8 cartridge, See, they took it apart, put it in a Super 8 cartridge, and now it's all fixed and it's pointing right down the gate there. So that's a handy little little tool that they've made there. Now, what's this fake nonsense here? I'll go on to that right after I've told you another con of this. Oh yeah, have we gone into the cons yet? Right, okay, here we go. We're going to go into the cons of the Charmera. Barry says, Ben, do you think this will be a one-off camera or will they do upgrades? It's been very popular. I think they might do a better one that's maybe it's got a better lens or maybe a better sensor. I hope they do. I mean, 40 quid, why not? In fact, I say 40 quid, but look at this. For the transparent one, 187. Excuse me. If you get yourself the limited edition transparent one, which by the way isn't even that good. It's not even that transparent. It's kind of frosted. £187. Someone's trying to sell that on eBay. So yeah, I know it's all a bit gimmicky, but the actual thing is fairly solid and so has been working so far. Oh, by the way, that 64 gig mega card, when I put it in there, it tells me I have 10,000 photos. Old Ray says a knockoff version. Yep, knockoffs. Let's look at the knockoffs while we're here. Here's okay. So you could say that the price of the Charmera is a con, because here you can get a knockoff here for $14.99. Here's another one, $13.54, and they are basically just flagrantly ripping off the Charmera. I mean, they've even done the different look. They've written camera instead of Kodak. That's the transparent one, sort of. I mean, it is just, look at this. They put 1984. Look. Which one's the real one? Which one's the knockoff? Well, you can see. Thing is, the inside of it might actually be the same. It might be the same camera and sensor. Don't know. So yeah. Well, let's go back to the cons. Okay, the first con, the main thing is the poor picture resolution. Okay, doesn't it's barely a con, because really, at this point, what do you expect? For a camera that's this tiny, this is not. It's not a DSLR, but the pictures are good enough. But another con would be the low dynamic range. Kind of goes hand in hand with the low resolution, I guess. There's no manual control over anything. You can't adjust the f-stop at all. You can't focus it at all. It's difficult to do workarounds. It auto adjusts itself to the light, and you don't have a say in that. Basically, you point, you shoot, and that's as much as you can do, except for putting that big lens on it, which was quite interesting. There's no tripod mount on it. Or maybe I'm splitting hairs here, but it would be handy for something. I know it's got this stuff on the bottom. Maybe there's some sort of clip you can get. That would be a good thing. If you have some sort of clamp with a tripod mount screw on it, maybe next to it, so you could at least get it on a tripod easily, not have to use Tezza precision masking tape all the time. Mike Long's stolen Elmo doesn't take that many stills. No. Yeah, this is, I mean, let's see how many it said. Yeah, look, it still says, I'll focus on this because this is quite funny. Oh, I put my hand in front of it. There we go. There. It says 99999. It's got space for 10,000 pictures, this thing. And the funny thing is that you take a few pictures, it goes down to 99998, 99997, 9996. When you switch it back on, it still says 99999. I think it's because all the photos that I've taken together doesn't even register as like one photo somehow. I don't know. This side towards screen says add a cold shoe, and you could add an LED light or other accessories. Yeah, it'd be quite interesting to see how much you could just load this sucker up, completely just put the big lens on it. Do that thing that the Hollywood people who shoot films on an iPhone do. You know, that they put so much extra accessories and stuff on it that you wonder, like, is this really an iPhone now? Right, another con is that, yes, now this is interesting. This is one I wasn't expecting there to be a con here, but there's no power lock button. So if you put this in your pocket, let me get onto the side screen here, because if you put this thing in your pocket, you will occasionally, in fact, very often, take it out of your pocket and see, oh my God, the screen is on. It got switched on while it was in my pocket. This thing button pressed against something. There should be a sliding switch or something just to cancel that from happening. So as a result, I got a lot of photos like this. That's with the flash. These are all photos of the inside of my pocket taken by the Charmera off its own bat as I walked around. In fact, I was in a cinema once and I heard little beeping noises and I thought, God, did someone not switch off their phone? I realized it was the Charmera trying to pirate the film from inside my pocket. So yeah, bit of an issue there. Now, neither pros nor cons. There are a couple of neutral things about this. It doesn't have any wireless connectivity. It doesn't have a Bluetooth. It doesn't have Wi-Fi. It can't wirelessly connect to transfer the pictures. You have to use the cable or a card reader like this to put the card into, or a straight USB-C cable. Now, this might not actually be so much of a con, because these days, you know, with all the like data scraping that's going on, and pictures, you know, getting uploaded instantly to your cloud and straight away getting tagged and invading your privacy, whatever you take on this stays on this, and it won't come off. It can't be hacked until you actually plug it in and connect it up to a computer. So in the same way that Super 8 is like totally without any metadata or cloud or whatever, as soon as you shoot it, it's you're in complete control of the pictures you've taken, which is quite nice in a way. If you don't want to be too too connected. Con, it says this side towards screen, it is not stacked sensor with IBIS. Lol. I mean, someone's going to have to, you know, soup one of these up at some point. Now, here's the last thing I tried, which is I tried some gels, some color gels, because I thought, let's see how it reacts to, say, you know, a daylight filter or a blue filter. So let's see what happened when I put some gels in front of it. I don't have any photos of me actually putting the gel in front, but here's a dramatic restaging of it. Oh, dropped it there. Okay, that's too blue. Okay, here we go. So basically, I took a picture and I held the gel in front of the Charmera like that and took the picture. True story! So here's a regular photo. I was very smart. I put some, you know, the old color bars on the computer. And that's with no gel at all. And that's with a slight, like a half daylight filter one. That's, I think, with a slightly blue one. And that's with no filter. And then this is with, I think, an orange one. Are you seeing a pattern here? That's with the blue one. You can't see much of a difference when you put a gel on. And it's because it's got some kind of automatic color temperature thing. We saw it happen on the plane. And it's happening when you put a gel in. It basically cancels the gel as soon as you put it over. So if you want a nice blue tint, well, here's the warm tint that it gives you itself. I thought, what happens if I put a blue gel over it when it's doing the warm tint? No, that's the warm tint in the camera's own effect. That's the cold tint, camera's own effect. And here's the warm tint with the cold filter on. That's with the cold filter on, without and with. Not much difference except for it looks more blurry. And here's the warm tint in camera corrected with a cold filter. Didn't do much. And here's the cold in camera tint with a warm filter just takes stuff away. It doesn't correct it at all. And I don't think it's these in-camera tints are true tints. You know, they're not like you put a proper gel over the thing. It's just colored it blue. And then when you take that away, it just takes everything away. So yeah, basically colored gels, not very good effect. Although this is quite interesting. So this is the blue tint, and then look, the colors have turned into like 4 colors, like black, red, green, and white. Interesting. Anyway, could mess around with that all day. This side towards screen says a monochrome version. Yeah, I could have tried that. I could have done it on monochrome and then put the tints. No, it still would have been monochrome. Well, it's what it is. Right. Now we've looked at the knockoffs and yeah, conclusions. I like it very much. I will continue to have it on my keyring, even though it will switch itself on every now and then. But for people like me, and I'm sure you are of a similar bent, you just feel secure if you've got some means of taking a photo on you. Some people have got those kind of, you know, plushy toys and stuff that they have to walk around with all the time. And for me, I think it's a camera. Sometimes, you know, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm just sort of see something and I think, oh, well, let's take a photo of that. So boom, get the Charmera out. Let's see how fast it goes. Okay, from now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 seconds from switching on to taking the picture. Never be late again taking a photo. I think for £40, it's worth getting one. If you're, you know, if you want to save money, then sure, why not get one of those? Let's see, what else we got. We got these kind of very unsexy looking ones here. God, that's expensive. £129. Are they? Who are they having a laugh? Who are they kidding? Yeah, but you can get them for, like, you know, pretty damn cheap these days. Everyone's filming each other. It's the surveillance society. Never mind Big Brother is watching you. Little Brother is watching you too now. So that's the charm of the Charmera. Barry says, I wonder how a polarized filter would look. Yes. It is quite charming, but yes, I'm sure that the people at the boardroom at Kodak absolutely loved it when someone came up with this idea. Hey, you know the word charm? It's a bit like the word cam. So camera, Charmera. Why didn't we think of that earlier? Actually, this is just made under license. I think this is some other company actually makes these and just pays Kodak and slaps the name on. But it's a quality piece of kit. The Charmera, everyone. Now let's get on to something different. We are rounding out with some Super 8. Yes, I don't need to. I don't really need to. Oops. Where am I? We don't need the top credit. Don't need to give a reason why to. Oh! I forgot. One more thing. I wondered how long the battery lasts. Someone was asking earlier how long does the battery last on a full charge. Okay, so I did a test. I set it down on the countertop and I got it recording video and I said don't stop. I just walked away. And do you know how long it lasted before the battery went? 1 hour 19 minutes. And the interesting part is that it didn't make one big video file. It made a new one every 5 minutes. So I ended up with, you know, 12 or so segments, each 5 minutes long, each about between 522 and 730 megabytes. And altogether, that's 9.67 gigabytes. So it took 1 hour 20 minutes of video, and it filled up 9.67 gigabytes while doing that. 1 hour 19 minutes. So that's some useful info if you wanted to film something for a long time. What happens when you film something for a long time? Well, you can make a time lapse if you speed it up enough. So that's what I did. So here is, we're not going to go through the entire 1 hour 19 minutes of the film because it would be a little bit boring. So here is a sped up version. You can look at the There's a clock in the top left. Nice. You might see the cat very quickly. There it goes. And I'm in there for a frame as well. There we go. So there's your Charmera time lapse right there. Very nice. So let's go on to, well, while we're here, while we're watching stuff, let's just go straight off the Charmera onto some Fomapan R100 reversal film stock, which I filmed on a trip to Spain, Valencia in particular, with family. We were going to it was a family journey, family trip. I don't know if you know much about my family. I don't know if I've talked about my family history, but the Slotover name on my dad's side was originally from the ancient Aztecs, from the word chocolate. Their word chocolate was xocolatl, and over the years it got the people got moved around, and the name got changed to xocolatl, to zokovertl, to zlotover, and finally slotover with an S. So yes, and believe it or not, to this day my brother is in the chocolate business. So yes, it's a very interesting checkered family history there. Right, so this was in Valencia. Yeah, you might have recognized that from the photo by my niece Holly. Lovely town. And I did some cool stuff with the rest of this roll, which I'll be bringing up on a future show. Super Saiyan says, love Fomapan R100. Yeah. When you go to the hassle of properly reversal developing it. I mean, look at this. This is, someone should tell the Charmera people. This is what dynamic range looks like. You've got the sky and the ground, both in focus, both properly exposed. And then, of course, just taking off from the airport there, because I had a bit of film left in the camera. Although I haven't done one of those for a while. Nice. So that was my little. There's for the Super 8 people. I know you're out there. I know you want a bit of Super 8. And then we're going back onto digital for the final film of the night. I did not set up the projector today because I thought we've been doing a lot of still photos today. I thought, why not show the film completely made of still photos that I made about when I had that camera phone that took those really old photos. I made a film with my friend Peter Waldeck, all using still images, one of 16 films we've made using the same format. And this is the film that was shown at Penistone. So if you didn't get to the Penistone Silent Film Festival, never fear, because I'm going to show you the film that they showed, film of mine that they showed there at the festival. It's made from hundreds of still images, and it has no dialogue. Obviously, it's a silent film, and it's called Shh. So sit back, popcorn time. You'll see something from my glorious past as a short filmmaker and present. So, should I stay in the corner? It's very distracting. I'll go away. I won't be going far. There we go. That was Shush. Whoa, where am I? Yeah, here we go. So that was Shush by me and Peter Waldeck. It thanks for all the lively comments. Didn't go to Cannes, but it did go to a lot of other festivals. It did rock quite well. So yeah, maybe I'll show another one of those from that series on a later time. And that, unfortunately, I've been going on for an hour 20 minutes. Good Lord. I think that's about as much as we're going to do. However, I'm not done with this Charmera yet. There's stuff I want to do on this thing, which I didn't get to this time. Stuff like, put it into dangerous places, like on the end of a stick, or, attached to the bumper of a car, or put it on a road and have a car run over it. I mean, you can do all sorts of fun stuff. I will not be inserting it anywhere. Thank you for the suggestion. And yeah, so I will be back with more Charmera related fun on another show. But there will be other shows where I'm doing all sorts of other stuff. In fact, I will be back I will be back on the 19th of March, definitely, for a show. Having fun with some bleach again. And I might give an update from Dresden. I might, give some little, just hop on the stream and tell you what's going on. If I have some cool footage of what's up there. And like I said, if you're in Germany, get yourself down there. It's a really cool thing. It's a really cool event there. So maybe I'll see you next week. Definitely see you in 2 weeks. If all things go well. If I don't get arrested for doing something with this Charmera that I shouldn't have. Barry says, great stream, glad you're back. Hey, it's good to be back, Barry. I've got a lot of stuff. I've got a lot of backlog to get to. So the next few shows are going to be easy ones. I will not be scraping any footage together. I have it all, a lot of it ready to go. This side towards screen says, brilliant show, Ben. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, everyone. And yeah, sometimes I like to go off the Super 8 tack, because why not? Why not have fun with all cameras? It's after all, it is Ben's Camera Show, recently renamed Ben's Cat Show, and we'll be. Let's just finish off with a picture of that bastard cat that I. Oh no, actually, maybe we should. Let's not go back to the cats. Okay, you are now free to go and take pictures of cats. Get yourself a Charmera. Don't get too close to your cat. We saw what happened, but yes. Go to the rest of the internet, as well as Super 8 cameras. There's more cat-related content out there. So thanks for all tuning in, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks, Super Cine. Thanks, everyone, and maybe I'll see you all on the on Mike's stream on Sunday nights. Adios. Yeah, it's time to go. I'll just swell the music up first. Bye.